Hi guys, and welcome back to Body Fit's Golf 20-Minute Tuesday. Today, going to be focused on the lower half. All you need is you, your mat, and a bottle of water. Let's get to it. So let's get down on the floor, let's get the body warm, particularly the hips, when we're talking about lower body training. So I'm going to tuck myself down, support your head, and just gently swing the top leg back and forth. I'm going to hold onto the floor so that I don't wobble or don't roll over. Nothing crazy at this point. Remember, the warm-up's just about preparing your body, getting ready for some of the tougher exercises to come. So hip mobility, very important for the safety and efficiency of the lower body. Protect my knees, protect my lower back, anything above and below the hips. So I'm going to go into my airborne clamshells there. So I'm supporting the weight of the leg with the hip adductors and now adding rotation both ways, which doesn't take long to start to burn. That's all we're going to work to. Work to a little bit of burn, a little bit of warmth in the tissue, as well as the capsule of the joint and the hip, the ball and socket. While we're moving that, we're getting some of that synovial fluid released, which is always a good thing. Work inside out. So I'm going to take that leg straight, keeping my toe pointing forwards. Just going to gently abduct the leg up and down, nice and smooth. I can already feel that warming up. And then I'm going to swing that straight leg forward this time. So slowly bring it to a little stretch. No pain, just a nice little stretch down there at the top of the calf, base of the hamstring. I also like to make sure my toe is pulled back to me slightly. Again, make sure my core is engaged enough that I don't wobble when I take that leg back. One more of those. And then we'll go to the other side. So I'll swivel around, so face you, support my head, and then bent knee, just gently forwards and back to begin. So 6 exercises when we get to our stations today. There'll be 2 focused on 2-legged work to warm us up, continue the warm up, and then we'll focus on some single leg stability and strength whilst keeping our mobility. And then from there, go to my hip rotation, where I just try and get the knee higher than the foot, and then the foot higher than the knee. Just control that rotation. Very important for the health of the hip, very important for a nice, efficient golf swing. Making sure both hips are functioning well. And then I take that to a straight leg, and then gently abduct up and down. Just the weight of your leg there, it's getting the attention of the hip tissue. If we were focusing more on strength, we could just tie a band around those legs. It's a little bit more to push against, but for the purpose of the warm-up, this is fine. And then I go into that straight leg swing, keeping the toe pulled back, again gripping the mat so that I can stay nice and still through my torso. Let's go a couple more of those. And then I'll go on to my back. So we'll lie down. Let's go through our standard glute bridge next. Just nice and smooth. Push those hips up. Feel a little stretch going on the top of the quads. Feel a little bit of engagement in the glute, the buttocks. And you also feel the hamstrings working. That's getting them nice and warm. We'll go a couple more, pushing through the heels, last one, and then I'm going to grab my right leg, interlock the fingers, support the leg, and just gently open and close. So important that we also warm the tendons in the knee, warm the knee joint itself, and you feel that stretching, the hamstrings continuing, as well as I'm now firing the quads, just preparing everything, letting it know it could be a little battle to come. It's not that hard, but we'll get your heart rate up a little bit when we get moving and standing. And then we'll change legs, interlock fingers. Good idea before you do any exercise is always to warm up, but particularly if you're going to go play, just getting on the floor and warming these joints. I like the joint by joint approach. Just make sure you take care of the ankles, the knees, the hips, the back, the shoulders, the wrists before you go swinging an implement around at speed. And then last bit of the warm up, I'm just going to do 5 single leg glute bridges each side. So I'm just going to rest my right foot up onto my left leg, slowly up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more. 5, do that on the other side. Left foot just rest onto the right knee. And then hips up, little pause, and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we'll give you a warning to get ready. Our first exercise is actually going to be lying on our back, so I'm just going to have a little drink before we get going. So we're going to do glute bridge marching out in 15 seconds. So I'll face this way. So like I said, onto your back to begin with. 3, 2, 1. We'll go up, and then I'm just going to slowly walk my legs out away from me. I'm not going to go too far on the first one, and then gently come back in. Here is the easy position. When my feet are close to me, I feel more sturdy. As I get gradually further and further away with the feet, my hamstrings let me know they're having to work a bit harder, and I gently walk back in. Don't go crazy on this first round. We can try and challenge you a bit more and walk further, but just get the feet past the knees and then gently back in. That's it. It's nice and smooth. Also trying to avoid too much sway side to side. My arms are down, giving me that little bit of assistance. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go to standing next. Nice and simple squat. So take your time coming up. Make sure you don't go lightheaded from lying to standing. So I'm just going to take a comfortable stance, about shoulder width, toes flared slightly, and then we're just going to slowly squat. So I'll have my arms forward, make sure my heels are down. Don't go too low too soon. So 3, 2, 1. I just gently sit down, pause, and come up. And again, sit down, pause, and come up. Sit to a comfortable position, hold, feel I've folded into those hips, and then come back. So from side on, very important that you think about as if you're going into a chair. See how my hips go backwards as I descend, and then come back up again. If my hips stay, what I call the Mr. Bean squat, is where I try and go straight down like this. So make sure I sit the hips back, pause, and come back up. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's our first round of squats. Give the legs a little shake out. Next, we're going to look at our single leg hinge, which is when we fold into a knee grab. We won't be doing too many of these on the first round. We're going to try and get the balance fired up first. So if I choose my left leg to stand on first, because I know being a right hander, my left leg's a little bit more stable. So 3, 2, 1, gently hinge, like so, into my figure skater. And now I'm going to try and bring that knee up and hold on to it, which for a moment, having something to hold helps, and then back down, repeat. So hinge, and then bring the knee up, and then land. Repeat. Hinge, so slightly further than my golf posture, and then grab the knee from side on. Let's see what that looks like. So I hinge, and then grab the knee. Hinge, grab the knee. 3, 2, 1. So very challenging, particularly if you know your balance is your weak point. Like I've said in past videos, to help that, if you've got a surface at home, maybe a laminate floor, wooden floor, or just getting off of a mat that's a bit spongy, and also removing the trainer will give you a bit of assistance there, so your foot will be able to grip, and the nerves on the sole of the foot will get better feedback. So now my right leg, good posture, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to hinge, Slowly come up, grab the knee, and then change. Foot down, into hinge, and then into knee grab. And then foot down. On the second round, we'll try and make it flow a little bit more for a bit more challenge. But I just want it really slow and deliberate on this first round as you get accustomed to the exercise. Make sure you're in total control. We've got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And when I do that knee grab here and pull my left knee up, I can actually feel a nice stretch through the right hip there and a bit of work on the right glute. Now it brings us on to a bit more stability and strength. I'm going to go for one-legged squat. On the first round, I'm going to imagine I'm in the center of a clock or a sundial. I'm going to try and tap my foot at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So it's going to look like this. 3, 2, 1. I tap my heel at 12 and then my toe at 6 o'clock. Heel at 12, toe at 6 o'clock. 12 and 6. So I've got much more forward lean when I go to 6 o'clock, which is a slightly stronger position. Okay, I'll show you from side on for these last 15 seconds. I go heel to 12, toe to 6. Heel to 12, toe to 6. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, give the leg a little bit of a shake out there. Nice to challenge when we're doing this. I like doing one-legged stuff because you get to feedback what's my left leg right versus my right leg. And same with arms when we do one arm stuff. So always spend a little bit of time throughout the week and the month focusing on your weaker leg or your weaker arm. So then 3, 2, 1, left heel, 12, left toe, 6. So even though I'm not jumping around, running on the spot, I can feel my heart rate elevating, working that bit harder, getting warmer. It's all good for the body. And then I'm working on the control and the health of my knees, my joints. If any of you have had any old injuries in the foot or the ankle, particularly difficult on this one, but just as important to continue rehabbing. 3, 2, 1, and there you go. So that's our 6 exercises. So you've got yourself a 15-second break, grab myself a drink, and then we're back down onto the floor. So as always, I'm going to try and turn the dial a little bit on those 6 exercises. Not that that last one needs turned much. So on the glute bridge march walkout, we're going to just try and take the feet a little bit further. So back in 3, 2, 1. I'm up into bridge, and then I'll see if I can almost get straight legs on those heels, and then back in. So this isn't about doing 1,000 repetitions. It's about doing whatever reps you do very well and controlled. So heels, heels, heels. Can I get the legs straight? Just about. And then gently back in. Only go to where you can control, folks. Don't try and go straight legs if you can't. Build up, give your body time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So a lot of hamstring strength needed for that one. So the back of the body, often overlooked when we're talking core as well. We forget that the core goes round. When we're talking legs, we forget that we've got all this thing behind us, the hamstrings and the glutes are very important to train because we can't see it in the mirror. Squats. I'm going to change the hand position to make this harder. So same stance. 3, 2, 1. Instead of having my hands here, I'm going to see if I can squat with my hands here. So now I'm feeling my posture muscles, my mid-back. We just talked about everything behind you that you can't see, having to hold those elbows open. What we don't want to do is start here and finish folded up into this position. So open up, extend, try and keep those elbows flared out and squat in that position. Now if I want to make that harder still, like I've done in past videos, don't come up all the way, just stay in that bottom range and gently pulse the squat. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And give the legs a little shake out. Much more burn. Again, feeling that chest is open rather than the desk posture. So now the hinge to knee grab, I'm going to try to let that flow. So without having the foot tapped down in between, try. If you need it, by all means do it. I don't want you falling over. So 3, 2, 1, hinge into grab. Forgive me if I don't speak as much during this one. It takes a lot of focus. A great exercise for my golfers for strength would be a weighted single leg deadlift. This one's just to see if you've earned the right to progress to lifting those weights by showing me you've got the control. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And definitely shake that leg off. So a lot of work for the foot, sole of the foot, the ankle, the calf, everything around there getting a good burn, but right up through to the pelvis and the core. So same on the other leg, and always a bit nervous. This one's, I've had an old injury down there, so I know that this one tends to rock no matter how hard I work it. It's never quite as good as that left. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I gently hinge and then bring the knee up. We made it. And then again, leg back, counterweight, so the leg goes right back to counterweight the head coming forwards, and then hold. So far, so good. Hopefully that's not the commentator's curse. You can focus on a small dot on the floor in front of you, that helps. Narrow the focus. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yes. Okay, now on the one-legged squats, remember in the first round I said we don't need to make that much harder, but I'm going to add 3 and 9 o'clock in. So instead of going just to 12, just to 6, I'm going to go 12, instep to 3, back to 6. So a bit of lateral stability increase. So feel that on the inside of the thigh and work on the outside of the hips. So hands back on hips for me. 3, 2, 1. I go 12, 3 o'clock, and toe to 6 o'clock. Heel to 12, instep to 3, toe to 6. Same point that I found on the floor, even if it's a speck of dirt, does help keep your head nice and still and keep your focus and take your time. Feel the leg muscles load and then help you back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bit confusing that one for me, counting as well as trying to count on the clock. There's a lot of numbers going on there. So just focus forwards, sideways and backwards if it's a bit more simpler for you. So back to the same leg. So when I'm then firing and loading in to that left leg, I need the inner thigh to help stabilize the knee while I also pivot and rotate around the leg. So 3, 2, 1, off we go. 12, 9 o'clock, and then toe to 6 o'clock. If you are finding this one is maybe a step too far, and it is very difficult, you could always just hold a couple of clubs, maybe a 5 and a 6 iron there, hold the heads so the grips are in the floor, and you could progress that from 2 clubs to just 1 club, and then obviously no clubs. If you can do it without, then well done. We got 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Well done, team. You made it through 2 rounds there for the legs. I'm going to get myself a little drink and we'll have a little rest. Hopefully you learnt that one leg maybe is needs a bit more attention than the other, or found out where your weak points are. Are you a bit weaker in those hamstrings? Are you a bit weaker when we work those squats and those quads? Gives you food for thought for your training. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that and found that pretty challenging. I know I did, trying to talk and do that at the same time. If you've got a mirror or you're looking at the TV and you can see your reflection or a window, it's always going to give you a bit of feedback, particularly on one leg, keeping the knee in line, which is always our goal. That's going to help you swing hard, stay healthy. I'll see you next time.